faraway woods, not very far away actually, where bloodlust fills every corner. A silent forest, waiting for the kill. Alright, enough of the dramatic story. Well, let's get to it. This is my favorite vivarium, the houseplant vivarium with tropical rainforest terrarium. In this vivarium, there are lots of different critters as well, where snails, springtails, millipedes. Wait, is that poop? And an unknown insect. From my previous experiment in this vivarium with the black pearl, and also in this setup, I've learned that the sunlight intensity in my desk is not bright enough, and so with this vivarium I have installed growth lights and also LED lights. And so now you know what's the purpose of the previous vivariums are, which actually failed. The lights that I'm using are actually LED white light and also some LED grow light 5050. Because the light spectrum needed for photosynthesis are actually wavelengths of 450 nanometer and at 600 nanometer. That's exactly what grow lights provide for the plants. And guess what? It actually works! Is all this experiment just to put a fancy houseplant vivarium in my house? I don't think so. Behold! The beast! Harpegnathus venator, one of my dream species. This one here in the middle is the queen, with thorax having wing scars. After the queen died, they have gamergate, which is where the newborn worker will become queen. And the gamergate will mate with a drone and then will start laying eggs as the new queen of the colony. Cool, right? And I've heard that they were great hunters. In the wild they hunt crickets, and so because I want to witness it myself, I am giving them Turkestan roach names. This species demands a high level of protein, and if the protein is not enough, the larva will suffer protein deficiency and they will become yellow in color. I've read that some ant-keepers actually feed them every single day as their upkeep keep on increases. But as for honey, they don't even want to take a sip of it. So it's time to introduce the bees into their new home. Now you will notice that this species likes to shake their abdomen. That is when they feel threatened, when they want to attack, or when they are on alert. In other words, when they are curious. They did not move out of the test tube, but just piled out some soil at the end. I actually thought of pulling the cotton and forcing them out, but because this species is a very rare species and a very sensitive species, so I don't want to stress them that way. I've decided to let them move out naturally. Until I found something interesting. When someone is in your way, what do? Move them. That's what I learned from them. But those snails are surely persistent. I even saw one snail got thrown into the water by the ants. That's very funny. Watching these ants foraging is very enjoyable to me. I can sit there for hours just watching them moving around. They're not even hunting, they're just walking around. And it makes me feel in awe. Now these species of ants need high humidity, and that is why I make this vivarium with a pond in the middle where underground waters are accessible. If the nest is not humid enough, the larva will become curly and wrinkled. Because I want to make this vivarium self-sustaining, which means I don't need to constantly feed the ants every day. So I put in these Turkestan roach nymphs and let them coexist in this vivarium. And I saw this. That nymph is molting in a forest of death. You see, even when we know challenges are ahead, we still need to grow. And that's exactly what this nymph is teaching us. So whenever the ants want to eat, they will hunt on their own. But will the ants manage to hunt down these nymphs in this vast forest? With all these terrains, it feels so difficult to hunt these nymphs. I must watch it with my own eyes where they manage to hunt these roaches. Until I saw one carrying back a nymph on its mandibles like a bounty hunter. And so I know what I should name them. They are the bounty hunters. As I mentioned earlier, this is a forest of death, of bloodlust. And this vivarium will be called the Arshel-Retzach, translated as Forest of Assassination. Lying down in the depth of darkness, the bounty hunters attack their prey. So now I can rest at ease, knowing that the cycle goes on as I have planned. I can say that the experiment is a success. When everything seems fine. Wait, is that larva? Well, I understand that why they throw that piece of roach into the water because it's trash, it's leftovers. But why the larva? Could it be dead? Like I mentioned earlier, the ants will leave their leftovers outside of the nest, and you can see that some other critters actually benefit from it, like the snails, even springtails and isopods. And even anything that is dead and decaying, they will come and clear it off. There is no wasting in nature. And you do notice that the test tube is gone because they have moved out in this pile of soil, and that is their entrance. And they have a second entrance over here. This is definitely not a beginner species, but if you are interested and you are still a beginner, do start with an easier species such as Camponodus. There are actually so many things that we can learn from nature. One of it is not wasting anything, sharing, and even coexisting. And that, we call it a lesson, which turns our dark world into a bright one. It's and love forever. Alright guys, so do you like this episode of Ant video? Well, to me, I like it a lot. I enjoy editing and filming this species a lot because they are just so cool. What can I say? I'm filming one of my dream species. Do you have a Harpinotus venator colony? If you do, and I have a YouTube video of it, please do share the links of the video in the comment sections below. I'd love to see how do you keep this species. I got this Harpinotus venator from a very dear friend of mine, Edwin Woon. You can check his Facebook over here, and he has some really cool ant species available. He is actually having several colonies of the third biggest Campanodus species in Malaysia. I don't know what's the species name, but it is definitely a Campanodus. So if you are interested, do let him know and support. Alright guys, I guess that's it for today. I have so much updates for you guys. Because of the busy month, I didn't really manage to make any ant video for you. But you have my words. After Christmas, I will post my videos every week. Of course, unless if I don't have any things to update about, then perhaps I will be silent again. And I'll see you next time.